don't age. I level up.
Those were the last words the world heard from Chuck Norris. He was 86 years old, throwing kicks in Kauai that would snap a 20-year-old in half. 9 days later, the level up became a transition.
Action movies and the TV show Walker, Texas Ranger.
Or here, the world's mourning the loss of martial arts legend Chuck Norris.
In the United States, where legendary action stars.
The 86-year-old passing away suddenly after being taken to hospital in Hawaii.
Our correspondent Lauren Tomasi looks back at his extraordinary life.
March 19, 2026. The internet didn't believe it. We've seen the death hoaxes for 20 years, but this time, the facts couldn't save him. The official statement from his family dropped at 4 a.m. Hawaii time. Sudden passing, they called it. But the meta of his death is already being questioned. Here's where it gets weird. TMZ reports he was hospitalized just 24 hours prior for a medical emergency. Yet sources say he was on the phone cracking jokes and training just hours before the end. Was it a sudden cardiac event, or something the family is keeping under wraps? Rumors of a final protocol he was testing in Hawaii are already spiraling. To the world, he was an invincible meme. To his family, he was Papa. But to the industry? He was a bottleneck they couldn't control. Before we talk about how he died, we have to talk about the man who taught Bruce Lee how to fight. Welcome to the end of an era. Forget the jokes. Let's talk about the data the casuals ignore. Between 1964 and 1974, Chuck Norris didn't just fight, he colonized the middleweight division. 183 wins. Only 10 losses. Most of those losses? They happened before he even hit his prime. By 1968, he was a ghost, untouchable. The biggest rumor in martial arts history? That Chuck and Bruce actually fought for real in a hallway during the filming of Way of the Dragon. The official word? They were just sparring partners. But look at the frame data. Norris was 170 pounds of pure Tang Soo Do power. Bruce was 140 pounds of lightning. Norris later admitted, Bruce was ahead of his time. But he never explicitly said who won the private sessions. The data suggests a stalemate that neither man wanted to break. 1969 was his God mode year. He won the Triple Crown, the most tournament wins in a single year. He was the first Westerner to ever be awarded an 8th degree black belt in Taekwondo. He wasn't just a fighter, he was a system architect. He founded Chun Kook Do because standard karate couldn't contain his output. Now, the 2026 rumors. Following his passing on March 19th, leaked data from a private clinic in Kauai suggests Norris wasn't just staying fit. He was allegedly participating in a biosync trial, using Neuralink tech to maintain his reaction speeds at 86 years old. Was his sudden emergency a biological rejection of the tech? If the man who couldn't be beaten was trying to hack aging itself, he may have found the only opponent he couldn't roundhouse. Everyone thinks Chuck Norris lived in a fortress, but his final days were spent in a quiet house on Kauai's North Shore. No massive security detail, no Hollywood lights. Just a man, his family, and the Pacific Ocean. I tracked the locations of his last check-ins, and it's not what you'd expect from a $70 million legend. Look at this clip from March 10th. His 86th birthday. He's not just moving for the camera, he's hitting the pads with intent. He looks jovial, cracking jokes with his trainer. People on the island say he was seen at the local markets just days before, buying fresh fruit and talking to locals about staying young. There was zero indication that a medical emergency was lurking 24 hours away. Wednesday, March 18th. The street level reports start flying. TMZ breaks the news that a high-profile resident was rushed to Wilcox Medical Center. Rumors immediately hit the local boards. Was it a training accident? A heart scare? Or something else? A friend who spoke to him that morning said he was in peak spirits and cracking jokes while training. The disconnect between his morning workout and the afternoon siren is what has the internet spiraling. To the locals, he wasn't Walker, Texas Ranger. He was the old guy who could outhike people half his age. That's the real 2026 meta, not the movies, not the memes, but the discipline of a man who was still leveling up until his body literally couldn't keep up with his spirit. They say the island felt different on the 19th, like the air lost its edge. "2026. We are surrounded by action giants, massive physiques, 12-meal-a-day diets, and CGI-enhanced stunts. But there's a bottleneck in modern stardom: authenticity. While the new guard relies on mass, Chuck Norris relied on precision. One is a product of a gym, the other is a product of a battlefield. Let's look at the data. Most action stars peak in their 40s. By 60, they're doing legacy sequels. Chuck? At 72, he was doing the splits between 2 flying cargo planes in The Expendables 2. At 86, he was still throwing head-height roundhouses. That's not just staying fit, that's a fundamental rejection of the aging meta. Rumors from the set of his final film, Agent Recon, suggest he was doing his own stunts while stars 40 years younger were calling for doubles. There's a long-standing Hollywood rumor about the untouchable clause. Modern stars like Vin Diesel or Jason Statham reportedly have contracts stating they can't lose a fight on screen. The Chuck Norris Fact. He didn't need a contract. His aura was so dominant that directors knew the audience simply wouldn't buy a scene where he lost. He didn't demand to win. The universe demanded he didn't lose. Modern action is a visual illusion. It's hidden in the edits. Norris's action was visual truth. No shaky cam, no 100 cuts per minute. Just the mechanics of a world-class martial artist. In a world of pretenders, he was the last true meta. And that's why, even with him gone, the gap between movie star and legend has never been wider. So, what's the final verdict? Chuck Norris didn't just survive 86 years, he conquered them. On March 19th, the man who never lost didn't lose his life, he simply completed the mission. His final message wasn't about looking back, it was about the next level. I don't age, I level up. That's the definitive 2026 move. The ultimate secret he left behind isn't a technique or a biohack. It's the consistency meta. While everyone else is chasing 15 minutes of fame, Chuck spent 60 years building a foundation of faith, family, and grit. He proved that aura isn't something you post, it's something you are when the cameras are off. To stay ahead in 2026, you don't follow the crowd. You follow the discipline. To the world, he was a meme. To the industry, he was a legend. But to anyone who ever felt like they couldn't stand up again, he was proof that you can. Death didn't catch Chuck Norris, he just decided it was time for a new arena. Don't just watch the legend. Live it. Hit the link in the description for the full legend blueprint. And remember, the roundhouse kick is optional, but the mindset is mandatory. Follow the aura.